Greetings to everybody. I'm Cosimo Palma, first year PhD student of the Italian doctoral program in artificial intelligence. In this presentation, I'm going to sketch the application of computational narratology to structured data from digital heritage as available, for instance, in Europeana and Wikimedia. Nowadays, the terms narratives and storytelling have established themselves as defining the most engaging and effective degree of information visualization. Yet a narrative is indeed, in its primary meaning, a story, a sequence of events including places, actions, characters, and of course their reciprocal relations. They constitute the outward interface with the user, who in turn infers from them the encapsulated information. This inference process is exactly what we are interested in and what we would like to achieve, because it represents a source of active imagination and attention. The two principal application scenarios are history textbooks, often found dull or pedantic by students, and museal objects descriptions, which quite often lack in originality. Therefore, the problem boils down, at least for the moment, to the storification of a plain description achieved by the computational application of narratological principles, beginning from the most simple and effective one: show, don't tell, which means, as we stated before, concealing the information into events so that the user active inference process can impress them more steadily into his or her memory. Due to time constraints, we will just sketch the pipeline. The first thing to do is to disjoint our input description, keeping only the main words, pointing at concepts such as person, places, or events. In order to achieve this, name entity recognition is performed. Taking as example an excerpt from history.com regarding the Second Punic War, we obtain a list of entities which will be used as constraints into database query, the second step of our pipeline. Aim of this passage is to zoom in all the highlighted constraints so that the element of our story can be chosen from the semantic cloud containing them. Our goal is to establish a web of relations embedding our nodes in a broader way, so that the connections among them are not direct and obvious, but indirect and subtle, therefore arousing a higher interest in the final user. To achieve this, we ask questions such as who was Hannibal's father, or who was the prefect of Saguntum at the time of Hannibal invasion, and so on. As an example, this is the query translating the first question, and here the knowledge graph showing the answer visually. All the entities extracted through NER are temporally and historically contingent. We aim to find a different path connecting them. The path that we seek belongs to the graph resulting from the combination of all semi-automatically performed queries and should enable us to visualize interesting narratological clots that otherwise would remain undetected. For instance, it would be utterly interesting to find out that even Hannibal's father had a connection with Saguntum, or that there is a particular town in North Africa which was particularly famous at the time for its elephant market. The broader the graph, the more difficult it is to actually spot them. Also, this operation can be automatized, so our problem could now be shaped at first as a graph drawing one, whereby the length of the edges matches their weight, which in turn could be intuitively represented by the amount of similarly labeled links in the whole graph. Nodes connected by rarer links will be hence displayed as a hub. At this point, we will be facing an optimization problem, where the NER highlighted concepts nodes need to be traversed by the shortest path, which manifests the highest average link rarity degree. The so-called narrative clouds will already offer a set of places, characters, and relationships which will be more lightly digested into a real event or episode. There are, of course, some drawbacks for the sketched strategy. This pipeline does not change only the shape but also the length of the text. In the majority of cases, brevity remains an indispensable feature. The application scenario of the museal object description remains, for the very same reason, problematic. It is difficult to imagine a caption text longer than the one proposed in our example. Further research direction point out as well the limits but also the concrete possibilities of our approach. The current state of the art already addresses and partially solves the points here listed. My current research project regards as well, in a relevant part, the problem outlined here. First concrete results about this topic are to be expected by the end of next academic year. Thank you for your attention and for your imagination as well.